We're back on the Ride Now Fee Lounge live Saturday morning. DSN Network, WRNW Broadcasting, 1628 in Urban Classes in the Lehigh Valley, DSN BX app, and WRNW Broadcasting app. So we're everywhere. Glad you're able to tune in, and somebody's having some fun with their phone.
Somebody's
Somebody's
I'm just
watching.
You know, he don't appreciate that when he's talking.
No, I don't say no. It's a guest to do anything you want.
So why would I do it?
Because you're not a guest. But big shout out to Raquel Sharp. That was great food.
Definitely.
We keep that conversation going with a brother in his own right is doing some amazing things. Met him last week at the October Film Fest. Really kicked it in high gear. Some of the things he's doing, and kind of bring him on the show to talk about the music business and the game in general. Ladies and gentlemen, from the In Access Music Group, Mr. Andre Mullen. What's going on, brother?
Thank you, man.
Thanks for coming to the show, man.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
I know you stay busy, and to be able to get you here on short notice and, in between stuff is really...
I think he was trying to be
my
funny.
pleasure. No, my pleasure.
Oh, wow. That's easy.
You said short notice, What do you mean? I ain't short.
Andre, I got to give you a
You just
disclaimer.
look at me small.
I got to give you a disclaimer since you're here. My brother, who
That
we all love
we
dearly,
love and cherish. Yeah.
but he suffers from a thing called Black Tourette's, and there's no cure. So
No, there's really not, though.
We don't know how long. Some days look better than others.
Oh,
This is one of his bad days.
I have.
We just give him some warm root beer and put him in the corner.
That's why they put me in the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I
okay.
need some air. They just push me out.
Right.
I
But
get it.
I think the woman he stays with feeds him some high sugar content, and then he just can't stop talking. And
Wow.
I have
Watch
no
out for
control.
that.
Please,
No, you know what it is? It's the Fruit Loops.
yeah,
Oh, it's the Fruit Loops. Yeah, it's the Fruit Loops that you've been eating, huh?
you know who you are in Brooklyn. Please,
Please, yes.
balanced diet in the morning.
Please,
Please help
thank
us
you,
all.
help
Help
us.
me.
No.
Help you.
Raisin Bran. Raisin
But
Bran will help.
let's talk about it, Andre. You do a lot of exciting things, and I got to know you a little bit last week and did some research. Like, wow, this brother is really deep. Talk about some of the things you do in the music brand. I know we got some great artists in the building here, being for the next segment, but on the business side of music, you handle the business of music, the business of entertainment. Kind of dive into that a little bit for our audience.
Well, generally speaking, I've been involved in music for 20 plus years on the music business side. Done everything from independent A&R to marketing to management to radio. I've done it all. And music, I would definitely, as I tell anybody, is my passion. It's what I call the labor of love. And as a result of that, and really where desiring for artists to really see themselves in a holistic context, meaning that they see themselves as what they do is making content versus just simply I'm just making a record, I'm just making a single. Hey, Twitter people, Instagram people, Facebook, buy my album, buy my single. It's more than just that. And, I know you guys, can appreciate I really came into the industry and being involved in the business in what I call the golden age of hip hop, which is, the 80s and the 90s, so there was
Rodeo's about the, he's the...
About the 60s and
yeah,
70s.
He's more Jimi
they
Hendrix.
were doing the hip,
Bobby Blue Bland,
No, so the great thing was that when I was involved in the music industry, or at least coming up and being around the different people and the major labels, there was only a few ways of getting paid in the music industry.
Right.
Now with technology, with the rise of independent artists, there are something in the area of 7 times that. So and there's a lot of different ways to diversify receiving money. The days of the struggling artists are over.
Yeah.
It's like right now, if you're an artist and you're not really making money, then you really need to think about that.
It's amazing because obviously when we do the show here at the Matrix Studios, a legendary studio here in the North Bronx. I mean, I don't work the music side, but just from my interaction from doing this show and meeting a lot of artists, you'd be surprised how many people have no clue on how to profit from this thing. It's like almost like the old New Jack City, by everybody got a garbage pail with fire, and they singing over the fire, and they think, I'm making music. So it's incredible how even in this new day and age with technology, and we all Facebook living and what have you, and people still don't have a clue. I interviewed Professor Griff a couple weeks ago, and he talked about 45 different financial streams available.
Yes.
And it's amazing how some people just they're talking about buy my CD. We don't even use CDs anymore.
Yeah, and see, that's the problem because, again, when you look at 20 years ago, I would even almost say, 20 years ago, you had there was pretty much about maybe 5 to 7 ways that you were getting paid in the industry. And then you have to remember, it was a really big deal. There were no such real thing as studios like this. When your friend said, yo, I'm in the studio, it was like, whoa. That guy is getting signed. Yeah. That's why he's there.
Right.
That's what's happening.
Right.
Now it's like, yo, I was in the studio. Where? Yeah, really where? Yo, it's in my closet in my crib. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
No, but that's the truth. In their bathrooms. I remember dudes used to have the microphone in their bathroom, close the door, and your engineer be outside the bathroom. That's where the best acoustics were back in the day.
There's an artist who happens to be a friend of mine who recorded his whole album outside in his bathroom.
In his bathroom,
yeah. You taped the A cartons on the wall.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what I remember. I used to have an Iowa, and me and my boy, we had a tape with beats on it. So we would come in after school, and we had the mic. We hooked the mic to the Iowa, and that's how we record on a tape deck. Yes, we had tape deck. Yeah,
tape deck.
Tape deck.
As long as you didn't say 8-track. As long as you didn't say 8-track. As long as you didn't say 8-track, we good.
But back that was a studio to us because at the time we was in high school.
You used to rap, Just?
Right?
Yeah, way back in the day. Wait. Go ahead. No.
Turn me up my headphones.
Those days are long gone.
Where's my snare? Where's my snare?
No, because I was the engineer, so I try to cue up the beats. My boy could rap. So we would try to work it out.
Of course, you from Mount Vernon when you were a rapper.
What was the name of y'all group?
We ain't have a group. We was just two brothers hanging out.
Three tough cookies.
We was just hanging out.
More music, please.
He said 3 tough cookies.
3 tough cookies.
But no, I agree with you. Back in the day, it was a lot harder to get into the industry. And now you can make your own industry. You can make your own lane. And you don't really need a Def Jam or a Sony or anything like that to really push behind you.
But that's where I tell everyone we are in the new music industry, and the new music industry, it doesn't necessarily call for you to have a label. I'm not anti-label. I'm actually pro-label because I just find that the majority of the artists don't want to work. So,
so who you work
they
for?
Need a label. They need a label.
No,
they literally because when you have
independent.
someone that said, I hear a lot of artists say, I'm just trying to get put on. Well, you don't have to get put on. You have to create your own lane.
Exactly.
And guess what ends up happening? Then labels come knocking and they start throwing all this money. But by that time, you realize, wait a minute, I don't have to give you 60-75% of my money.
Exactly.
I can keep 100% of my money, and I may not have 1 million people, but man, I have 30,000 people that are totally devoted and totally willing to spend their money on me.
And you don't even need a distribution label out of here anymore because there is really no more. In all honesty, nobody goes to stores to buy CDs or anything like that. Your distribution is a sound as an online company that will put your music out there and get you what you need.
Millennium Music.
There you go, Millennium 5.
That's right.
Yeah.
Millennium5.com. Welcome to Music Revolution. Yeah. Now, obviously, again, we're here because of new media. This whole connection, last week met October Film Festival, that's all new media. But it's an all new media, good media. Now, again, I'm not knocking nobody because anybody who does a radio brand or a web series or artist should be commended because you're stepping out the box, like Raquel said, you're chasing your dreams. But let's face it, just because they wrap it up in the candy wrapper don't mean it's good chocolate. So
trendy.
Is it too overkill at times because of, if I have a nice smartphone, a model has a nice smartphone and she cuts her jeans up to her thigh, that make her a model. Is that overkill because of the technology or, is it, hey, listen, the more the better? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I tell you this, one of the things is that the Inaccess Group is a brand agency. So we work with creatives and we work with brands, and it just so happens that a lot of times our clientele happens to be artists. Right? So I have some very serious conversations with artists, and I think right now the market is so convoluted. Everywhere you go, like right now, if I needed music for your show, I know I can call probably 15 people right now without even really giving it any serious thought.
Right.
I can look in my phone and say, okay, call this person, call this person, call this. That's how, and that's why, and that's how that this industry is so convoluted because music, there's such a supply of it.
Right.
And so when an artist wants to quote unquote act up, Really? Don't worry about it. I'm
Right.
gonna go over there and talk to
Just
that
somebody
dude.
right there.
You know, oh, you want? Don't worry, I'll go and talk to that dude.
But does it water it down? Like I mean,
Of
like
course.
like we got like J30 and Mallory come up next, and they put that grind in.
Right.
So if they put that grind in, and somebody's like Dave Chappelle and it turn me up,
Right.
Does that hurt them? Because
It does, because you know what starts happening is you start coming across people who aren't really passionate about this,
Right.
And they're looking at it as a hustle.
Right.
That's why I tell some artists, man, listen, I have really hard conversations with them, and I say, listen, why don't you just stop being an artist? And they look at me like, why would you say that? You trying to crush my? No, I'm not, because
don't
you
be
know
mad.
why?
UPS is hiring.
Because at the end of the day, you have artists that really are desiring to do this. And I'm not talking about they just have nothing else. There's nothing else that they can possibly do.
Right.
It's like, hey, look, we might as well do this music thing because this is the only thing that's gonna work for me. I can't get a job. I'm a felon. I don't want to cut hair. Blah 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 blah.
That was the thing back in the day.
But that was remember.
Yeah, see?
Remember though, that's the new line now.
Right.
In the hood, it's either you want to be a rapper or a basketball
and then
player.
you know what happens?
Or-
you
or
know
a-
what starts happening is that you start
pharmacist.
noticing those people that really don't have a passion for it. They do trendy music. They do things that's trendy. Okay, yo,
auto-tune.
let me do Fetty Wap.
Or they
let
copy,
me do
they
Future.
copy off somebody.
Let me do Wiz Khalifa. Let me do
they
Wayne.
sound.
So they do that because why? Because they
That's
know
it.
they
That's
can
gonna
flip
sell.
it.
Right.
They know they can get that money real quick.
But think about it. That's the lifestyle that they see. That's the lifestyle that's portrayed, unfortunately, where you see all these rappers. They got the Bentleys and they got the women in the videos.
A lot of that stuff is
And
rented.
it's
But you know what?
all
All right,
rented
so
and
then let
stuff.
me.
Most
I'll
of
say
it.
this to
Not
you.
for everybody.
I'll say this to you, right? Okay, all of that is trendy. They see it in the whole 9 yards. But most people, when they hear music, when any of us hear music, you get to a point where like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like it was hot when it dropped. It gave the artist 15 minutes of fame. Now it's like, nah, I'm good. Get rid of it.
Right.
That's where we all. Yo, you heard what Wayne put out, son? Yo, you heard what? And then after a while, you're like, nah, I'm good. Because
Right.
that's definitely not the music that you may be driving with your girl with.
Nope.
That may be not the music that you actually like, yo, I just want to chill, let's relax. Yo, let's throw a whiz. No, you don't throw that on.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We don't smoke weed. It's the same.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, like we get the same thing. You move from music into the radio game, and people always say, "Oh, well, I got a show too." And I don't go around knocking people because again, like anybody who can sit up here and talk and try to entertain or educate, I commend them, and I try to always even help people that and I always look for help myself. But again, they're all things are not equal,
Right.
and so I don't even use the dirty word of internet radio.
Right.
Even though we're on terrestrial in some markets, I don't mention that because people already perceive it to be negative. Like when YouTube first came out, it was great. Wow, I got this great medium. I can put imagery. I can put a video out. I can get that to the world. Nowadays, everything it's now we're so immune to it. It's like taking penicillin for a cold. It don't do anything for me anymore. So,
And that's a
right.
good point because that's why it is so imperative for, and this is my mantra, is that artists, and I like to put them in creatives because that's what they are. They're
Right,
creatives.
right.
They're real creatives. They have to see themselves as a brand. And brand has been an ugly word. Brand has been a misconception, misunderstood. Everybody throws around branding, marketing, advertising.
They don't know what it means.
And they don't know what it means.
Right.
They don't know what it means. And what ends up happening is everybody says, well, I'm a brand. Well, when I ask these questions, what do you mean you're a brand? What does that mean to you? Well, I got to do some branding. Well, what does that mean to you? Oh, I got to put together a logo. No, that's not it.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah, it's more than that. So when I talk to creatives, I say, listen, you have to look at yourself as a brand. What does a brand have? A brand has identity. A brand has value. It has substance. It makes people want to engage with the brand. That's why you see some artists who I love to use this brother as an example. Ryan Leslie. Ryan Leslie was signed to a major label, right? Signed to a major label, broke out with Cassie, was very, very heavily linked up with Diddy. Signed to a major label, put out a record,
And
put out a
bought
couple
them
of records,
diamonds for the girl.
and then was like, okay, you know what? Matter of fact,
This is
let me
boring.
do this on my own.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what he does is creates his company called Disruptive Media, Multimedia, and creates his platform where he has total and 100% access to his fans.
Right.
Now, check this out. Last year, Ryan Leslie has a fan base of 11,000 people. 11,000 people netted, not grossed, netted that man $1.5 million on 11,000 people. Not on 11 million, not on 110 million, not on 30 million, on 11,000 people. That's so, and guess what? The only way you can do that is when you see yourself as a brand having identity, having values, having attributes that says, hey, look, I'm going to talk to Kev right here. And this is how I'm going to talk to Kev. And Kev going to know who I am. Kev going to enjoy what I do. So guess what? When I tell Kev, hey, Kev, I'm going to be at Madison Square Garden. Yo, Dre's my boy. Yo, I'm going to throw out $300 to see Dre.
Right.
I'm going to do that. So that's how, and that's why creatives have to see themselves as a brand. Get those super fans who will then be able to literally have them live the life that is contrary to the struggling artist.
We're going to take a quick break. Super fans of 950 Lounge, stay tuned. I want to bring you back. I want you to kind of tap into continuing on the brand conversation, but where the independent artist can go. Where that kid on the street who's singing over the garbage pail, where he can go to take it to the next level.
Yeah, he needs to sing somewhere else.
Take a quick break. Andre Mullen, come on.